Alright, so Shigaraki being All For One's puppet was the entire point of his character. You should have known something was up when he was saying that he just keeps wanting to destroy and he didn't know why. A lot of his hate for the world was just festered by All For One and giving him a quirk that made him crave nothing but destruction. The whole point of Shigaraki was that he was the unlucky child that was born and All For One said, I choose you to ruin your life. From the moment he was born, took his quirk, which is the reason why he can float, by the way. All For One hadn't seen this dude since he took him down way back when. So when he saw him floating, he was like, wait a minute. All Might was probably scratching his head. The clues were there to show us that he was manipulating Shigaraki from the very beginning, but you had to piece those things together. All For One quite literally planned everything in Shigaraki's life. He never had a chance to do anything different than what he is currently doing, which makes Shigaraki not only the worst victim ever, but it also made Midoriya the perfect hero. Hear me out. So Midoriya definitely did try to kill Shigaraki and he failed to do so. So he had no idea how he was ever going to win this fight. He's scratching his head thinking, how do I kill something that got super regeneration and he can kill me with instant death? I already was able to hit him with the force of bend reality and that still did nothing to him. So the only hope Midoriya had of saving the world, because he was never going to beat Shigaraki, that was off the table the moment he tried and he failed, was to put all of his hopes on saving Shigaraki or saving Tenko Shimura. Midoriya was like, I can't kill this dude, so my only hope of winning is like reaching out to that one part of him that seems good and trying to help him. I can't stop him, but maybe that little crying kid can stop himself. Who knows? And the reason why he knew to give this a try is because he saw how much he just hated heroes. When Shigaraki came at Midoriya in the mall, remember that? He started telling this dude that he hated heroes and that all these people in the mall piss him off because they act like nothing bad can happen to them. He was pissed that they could be so carefree when a demon like himself is just lurking around because people like All Might exist. And from that interaction, Midoriya ended up asking All Might later, like, was there ever somebody that you wasn't able to save? Because it sounds like what he's saying is personal. So already Midoriya is looking at Shigaraki from a lens like somewhere in his life, Hero Society screwed him over and made him hate heroes. And it might be connected to All Might. So of course, when he learns everything, it's like clearly it is connected to All Might and now All For One. Maybe if I save that kid, he could just stop doing bad stuff and I don't have to try to kill him because I can't kill him. So honestly, it was super poetic for Midoriya to go inside the world of Vestiges and give him the quirk of One For All. Midoriya saw his whole backstory and said, look, All For One took all the agency you ever had in your life away from you. Nothing you ever did in your life was your own thought. He groomed and curated everything so that you will do exactly what he wanted to do. And there wasn't nothing you could do about it because he got like hundreds of years of experience on his hands and hundreds of quirks. So Midoriya had to make that Hail Mary decision on giving Shigaraki One For All, which could be catastrophic if this little boy decided to choose violence. But Midoriya said, look, you never had a single choice in your entire life. But here in this moment, I'm going to give you this really strong quirk. You were trying to steal it? Forget that, man. Take it. And now that you have this power, and I see from your past that you did want to be a hero at one point in time, what you want to do right now? And in that moment, Tenko took his hand, took that quirk, and was like, I'm going to use the one decision that this boy has given me in my entire life to kill this dude All For One. And Midoriya's like, all right, bet. You go high, I go low. And then they literally hit him with the 9th wielder of One For All from the outside and Shigaraki, the 10th wielder of One For All from the inside. And that was the only way they were ever going to stop this monstrosity that All For One created, Shigaraki. Shigaraki is Frankenstein's monster. This is not Tenko Shimura. This is the groomed, brainwashed experiment that was created by All For One to take over the world. He was the perfect ultimate being of destruction. And I only say it that way because if he did not go down today, whether it was Shigaraki in that body or All For One, he was going to basically become God one day. And that might sound like a stretch, but when you got a being that even bending reality cannot kill him, he has the ability to kill you with instant death the moment he touches you or anything on the floor that you're connected to. Super regeneration that keeps anything from working on him. And of course, he can still steal quirks, and quirks are going to get more busted with every generation. We already had quirks like Eri that could rewind people out of existence. Imagine if he got a quirk like that. If Midoriya failed to stop this dude, he would have taken Eri's quirk eventually. Eventually, whether it be, a year from now, 5 years from now, a decade from now, somebody would be born with the ability to breathe in space, and he'd be able to take that and breathe in space. Somebody might have a plasma quirk and he can take that plasma quirk and now he can interact with stars. Like, as time goes on, he would just get stronger to the point where he would take every new busted quirk that was coming out on Earth and he would just be God, eventually. You were never going to stop this dude by beating him, and that's why Midoriya had to be the one to inherit One For All. Because ain't nobody else going to be as selfless as this dude to try to save the ultimate demon that's finna take over the world. Everybody kept talking about maybe we gotta kill him. We gotta try to kill Shigaraki. Even his grandma at one point was like, we might have to kill him. And every single person that wanted to kill Shigaraki was wrong because you could not kill him. The strongest dude on Earth tried and he failed. But nobody else was a good enough hero to actually try to save the boy Shigaraki, which is the only hope that you had to beat All For One. Quite literally, Midoriya was like the perfect hero for this job. And the thing that made Midoriya the most worthy person of using One For All is the fact that he will quite literally save anyone that is willing to be saved. It don't matter if you are the ultimate demon lord experiment made to destroy the world and take it over. I will save you. And nobody else with this quirk would have been able to do that. It took this dude. Because ain't nobody else reaching their hand out to the world's greatest villain. But this was already kind of foreshadowed because in the first chapter, he ran for Bakugo, the dude that was bullying him, and told him to kill himself. The whole point of why Midoriya is the world's greatest hero is the fact that he will save you no matter how bad you are if there is some good in you, period. And if you had any other mindset, you would have never took down Shigaraki, which means All For One would have got what he wanted and the world would have been doomed. That video ended up being longer than I thought it was going to be, but the whole point stands. Shigaraki being All For One's puppet was the entire point. He never had a chance. And the point of Midoriya was to see that this dude wanted to be a hero and think that I'm going to try to relate and connect to that one thing that's good in this dude's life and try to make him reach out and take this power I want to give him. Because ain't nothing else working so far. I tried, trust me. And if he takes One For All and becomes the 10th wielder, Midoriya thought maybe this boy would use the power I just gave him to kill the dude that ruined his life. And Midoriya was right, because Shigaraki did want to be a hero at one point, but he gave up on it because he thought he had no other choice. So shout outs to Midoriya for giving the dude that never had a choice to do anything different the first choice in his entire life, and he chose to use that choice to help us beat the Demon Lord. Because if he had just gave in to despair, y'all had to deal with a whole different beast like somewhere down the line. And that's why for me personally, Shigaraki and All For One are some of the best villains in all of Shonen Jump so far. All For One lost one time in his entire life to All Might and was like, you know what, I ain't finna let that happen ever again. Then he picked a boy to steal his quirk and groom him into the ultimate evil that would hate everything so that he can possess his body in the future. And for all intents and purposes, he did make the ultimate creation that could not be defeated by anybody. And All Might wouldn't be able to do it because this dude was Nana Shimura's grandson, so that would just break his willpower. Which, due to his 100+ year of experience, he was able to see that the strength of All For One and One For All is tied to willpower. So if I can break All Might's will by showing him his grandson like this, the one person in the world that possibly could stop him before he's ready won't try to stop him. And he took one look at Midoriya and was like, yeah, that dude is never going to be able to beat my monstrosity. And you know what? He was right. But Midoriya was smart enough with multiple quirks and skilled enough and strong enough in combat to hold his own long enough just to save him. And do the one thing that All For One did not think was possible, and it was reach this hand out to a dude that would literally kill you if he touches your hand. Like, think about it, All For One literally created Shigaraki in such a way with giving him that quirk that anyone that did reach their hand out to him, as much as it would have helped for his psyche, they'd have just died. He was never gonna get the help that he wanted. That's why when Midoriya did it, he lost both of his arms. But that is what it took in order to reach out to this kid and get him to fight back against All For One. And this is why Stain loved Midoriya, because it's like, that's true hero material right there. Whereas on the flip side, Hawks almost single-handedly destroyed Hero Society, but that's a video for a different day.